Hi, welcome back to Mark and Cindy's Food Forest here in Lutz, Florida. And today we're going to take a look at the Surinam Cherry, a very interesting cherry. It's from the Eugenia family. If that sounds familiar, it's from the same family as the cherry of the Rio Grande. And they're both from the Eugenia family. And this is one of the most widely known edibles of the Eugenia family, very popular. See these here on the tree, and my lovely assistant Cindy is my camera person. Say hi.
Hello.
Alright, so today we want to take a look at these. It's more of a shrub than it is a tree, and these are actually two different varieties that we have of these. We have the red variety, which is this one, and we do have one that's a black variety. And then when they get ripe, instead of getting a dark red, they will get a dark black, and those are the more edible, or actually the better tasting of the two varieties. So it's also known as the Brazilian cherry, cayenne cherry, pitanga, so it goes by different names, and the plant's native to Suriname, Guyana, and French Guiana, southern Brazil. It's cultivated and naturalized in Argentina, Venezuela, Colombia, and also along the Atlantic coast of Central America. You find it in some of the islands of the West Indies, like the Cayman Islands, Jamaica, St. Thomas, St. Croix, Puerto Rico, Cuba, Haiti, and the Dominican Republic, and the Bahamas and Bermuda. It's basically a tropical, but it's adapted to a subtropical environment also. They have a complex taste when you eat these. Well, before I get to that, let's take a look here. And as you can see, they start out as a yellow, actually green, they go to a yellow, and then to an orange, and then from orange they go to red, and then they start getting a deeper color red. So you got all of the different colors here, as you can see with this one thrown in. That's the different colors that you will see them go through. And the darker they are, the better tasting they are. And if you eat these before they are ripe, they will be a little bitter. It's got a complex taste. It's almost kind of spicy. Either you like these or you don't. A lot of people do not care for these. I like them. For the vitamin content, antioxidants, and all that. We'll talk about that in a minute. My chickens love the mulberries. They love the Barbados cherries. When I get some of these that have fallen on the ground and starting to go bad, I throw them out. My chickens will not eat them. So they're very picky eaters, or they just don't like the taste of these. But this does well in Central Florida. It grows in almost any kind of soil. So sandy soil is just fine, as we have here in Florida. And as I stated, they have adapted to subtropical areas. Now the fruit is rich in vitamin C. It's got phosphorus, calcium, iron, riboflavin, and niacin, as well as being an excellent source of vitamin C. Like I said, it's rich in antioxidants like lycopene, which you'll find in tomatoes. Just different, like beta carotene, gamma carotene, just different stuff. That's why I like these. I mean, when you eat one of these when they're ripe and you put it in your mouth, they sometimes will just like almost melt in your mouth. You see they're ribbed. They have almost like a pumpkin or a kind of a pepper kind of look to them. And typically there's usually one seed. Sometimes I get two seeds inside of here. So as far as like taking care of these, they basically don't require a whole lot of pruning. You can just prune them to shape them. I have one that's over there in the other side of the garden, and that one has not produced anything, but it's actually in very good shape. It's thriving in that area, and I've actually shaped it because it was taking up, just getting out of control, so I had to prune it back a little bit. But as I stated before, a lot of times you can actually plant two different trees or shrubs in two different locations in your yard, and one will thrive and the other won't. But that one is thriving. I'm confident that it will give me some fruit at some point. So as far as fertilizing goes, I started out with an 8-10-10 fertilizer on these, and they've responded really well. And then in the midwinter or so, I gave this a pruning, a light pruning, and as I stated, it does do well in Florida, so it does handle the cold. If it gets down to freezing, it's not a problem, especially when they're more mature and you've had them for a couple of years, 3-4 years. They do very well in the cold. But as I get closer to the spring, and these are one of your early blooming trees. They start off with these little white flowers, and they will start early, very early in the spring, late winter. And then I'll go to a early spring, a 2-10-10 fertilizer. I do have somebody that's told me they use a citrus fertilizer on their Barbados cherries trees, and they do well. So I'm not sure about using a citrus fertilizer. If anybody out there knows about that, just let me know in the comments. But 2-10-10 has worked well, as you can see here. Flowers appear in early spring, and then within 3 weeks or so is when the fruit comes to fruition. It doesn't take very long. Flowers appear, they go through their stages of green, yellow, orange, and you get to the red. And within a few weeks you have fruit ready to eat. Just like the Barbados cherry does the same thing, and the cherry of the Rio Grande. The same thing also with that. And one thing that you'll like about this tree, from what I've read, is that it's pretty much pest resistant. So you don't have to worry about a whole lot of bugs and different things. I've always wondered too, with having chickens in my yard, if that helps with bug control. So I'm kind of wondering if that's a plus. I've had very little trouble, if any, on just about all of my trees in my food forest here. So I'm wondering if the chickens are really a benefit to pecking at the grass all day, eating up all kinds of insects. But anyway, it's a beautiful shrub, and I think you'll enjoy it. It's very low maintenance. They grow very easy. Not a whole lot to do. I just try to give them a fair amount of water when it gets close to springtime, so when the flowers appear, the fruit comes. Again, I've been very blessed here in my garden. The Lord has given me many trees, and as you can tell, I got plenty of guavas on my trees here, and it's just a wonderful thing. If you haven't, point the camera over here for me. If you haven't thought about growing, I highly recommend you do. It's really something special about coming out to your garden and just pulling fruit off of your tree. I didn't know anything about the Surinam cherry trees, but my wife found 2 of these at one of the box stores and asked if she should get them. I said, yes, get them, bring them home, let's plant them. But anyway, God's creation is wonderful. Just watching everything grow and getting the fruit that He's given us from the trees is a wonderful thing. So anyway, if you haven't thought about growing one of these, I hope you do. And until we meet next time, keep growing and be blessed.